How's it going, critter people? I hope you all are doing well. We are looking at a video by Joel Beckman talking about how training killer whales made this dog trainer better. That's his words and his opinion. I actually disagree. But using this footage under Fair Use Act for education criticism purposes, giving my personal point of view. So first we're going to see what he has to say, and then I'll give my comments afterward.
Flying off the whales, which you can get into whether any of that is good or bad. That's not the argument today, but that's what I did. So it taught me a lot about aggression. Killer whales like...
So here I just happened to notice, as we pause the whale, that their teeth are just completely worn down. And they have a lot of scarring and chipping here on the chin, which shows they rub against the cement floor and the walls and whatever it is. I mean, they wear themselves down. Not healthy. I'm not a fan of SeaWorld. I'm not a fan of keeping, wild animals captive like this, especially to perform for entertainment. If, I was going to say if it was just for education, I mean, yeah, okay, but they have since made it illegal, I think, to take any more from the wild or possibly continue breeding in captivity because it's just too dangerous for the humans and, of course, far too detrimental for the animals. But
dogs are very social animals. They're not solitary, so you have to work with groups of killer whales, and they don't.
But the groups of orcas that they have at SeaWorld are not from the same pod, meaning the same family unit. So it's like if you just get a bunch of wolves, like the ones that were studied way back in the 1970s and earlier, that you get a bunch of wolves from random families and put them together, and then they end up fighting because they don't speak the same language, they don't know each other, then that's what happens. Just like with these whales, there's aggression, there's fighting that wouldn't necessarily happen if they were in wild, in their own families, and in a natural environment. Hundreds of square miles of free-roaming ocean versus basically a bathtub.
You don't want them to fight, and they do get in fights, and you gotta... So it relates in a way, and it doesn't relate in a way. It was all positive reinforcement.
Because you can't throw a shock collar or a slip leash on an orca.
Not an all positive reinforcement trainer, nor should any of you be.
Okay, so he's talking from his own experience that he actually went backwards in training. So it instead of saying how killer whales made this dog trainer better, it should say how it made him worse, because he's not a better trainer. If it were anybody else but him talking about their experience working with orcas, and not using any of the techniques of no reward markers, or oh, you didn't do it so you don't get your food, even though we've starved you all day anyway, so you perform for this. You can choose whether that's your opinion or not, or you can claim that they don't actually do that or not. Okay. That's beside the point. If you were able to actually work with them without having to use any, major corrections like he does with dogs, jerking them around, choking them with his leash, with his slip leash, jabbing them on the side, letting his dog go bully and attack other dogs. Okay, you can't do that with an orca, because they will absolutely destroy you. As, Tilikum, rest in peace, the very aggressive... He was a product of his environment, of his situation. So Tilikum, a very... aggressive male orca who had passed a couple of years ago. If you go look up Blackfish, is a great documentary of that. So with orcas, you cannot just go throw a shock collar on them, can't throw a slip lead, can't go, tell them no, because they don't care. They are an orca, they're a wild animal, just like a wolf. They've not been evolved over the last, possibly 36,000 years. I'll get into more information on that in a future video. I'm doing research on the true ancestors of dogs. But you can't do that. So what do? We can, if we want to make them perform, we either have to use positive reinforcement, or we have to, starve them and wait for them to, wait them out until they're hungry enough to perform and all that. But naturally, you can teach them. That's where the clicker training came from. Originally, I believe, was from working with, sea mammals and sea animals and such. But he says that they are all positive. And I kind of question that, but they're as positive as they can be, because they have to. And he is not. So how does working with orcas make you a better trainer when you're actually not.
Doesn't relate in a way. It was all positive reinforcement. I am not an all positive reinforcement trainer, nor should any of you be.
Why? Why? What is his explanation for that? Why is he telling other people you should not be all positive reinforcement? Why? Because it actually takes education. It actually takes time. It's not an easy, quick buck. You know, I question if he couldn't actually teach an orca with just positive reinforcement without having to, you know, maybe that's why he got into dog training and he got out of it, because he got frustrated. He couldn't take his frustrations out on the whale. I don't know. I'm just saying that. I'm sorry, I woke up my Shiba. I woke him up. But anyway, I don't know. I just thought this was just more nonsense, that he's not giving anybody the explanation. He wants a hive mind. He wants one method for everybody to listen to, 1 or 2 or 3 people, including himself. I'm saying think for yourself, do your own research, you know, please educate yourself as much as you can. There's a lot of free education out there. Just know where your sources are coming from. Anything, you know, science-based is great, or anything with, you know, proper studies that have, you know, educational backgrounds and whatnot. Or don't, you know, be like him, be like Dog Daddy, whatever. So anyway, that was this rant of a video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you got something from it. Let me know what you think of this video. Pretty much just a rant. So thanks for watching. Go say hi to your little critters. Go give them some kind of loving that they appreciate. And until next time, stay positive.